everyone, welcome back to my channel. So now it is time for me, let's see, I feel like this is crooked. It is time for me to talk about what I melted for Risky Week. I do have some empties here. I also have some non-empties. But really quickly before I get into that, if you watched, I uploaded like late yesterday, or maybe last night, my melting basket for this coming week, which is, if it brings you joy, melt it. So some people have pulled, some of the folks following along have pulled, or part of the collab have pulled things they've melted and they know are favorites. And some, like me, I've pulled scents that either ones that I've melted and know are favorites, or scents that, like blends that just have my favorite scents in them. So strawberry, whatever, that I'm pretty confident will do well for me. But there are a few that I forgot to pull. There was one drawer for L3 that I skipped over because it was loaves and we have a loaves week coming up. So I thought, okay, I'll melt those for loaves, but I forgot it had some of my customs in it. And I also forgot my Lavender Don't Cross Stream. So I'm adding 5 cents to my melting basket for this week, which I know my melting basket is already ridiculously large, but these are scents that I really want to melt, and I just need to have like one of my favorites. So one of my absolute favorites is Lavender Don't Cross Streams. This is one of my favorite nighttime blends. I originally got this as a blend in my custom order at the beginning of last year, beginning of 2021 from L3, and I melted through it super fast. And now I have this loaf plus one more loaf in my collection, and that is a blend I will always need to have in my collection. It is definitely like a bakery vanilla, but it's not overly bakery, at least to me it's not, but it's definitely a bakery, like a vanilla bakery lavender type scent. So love it. And then there's a few of other customs that I've melted that I got in, let's say I got these in February last year. So one of them I've talked about many times, Fraser Fir, French Vanilla. I say many times, at least a handful of times. This was inspired by the Bathing Gardens, A Country Christmas. It's not the same, but it's very reminiscent of that particular scent, and I love this. So I definitely want to make sure I'm continuing to melt this through winter. And so with the weeks that are coming up in the challenge, this is my week. This is my chance to melt this scent. That's kind of what I focused on too with, I know this is supposed to be, should you melt this, but I just wanted to explain this. With the upcoming challenge, like challenges each week, I also tried to include in this particular week, like things I'm not gonna have an opportunity to melt in the upcoming weeks, if that makes any sense. So like there's 2 vendors that I didn't pull anything from because we're gonna have 2 weeks that are vendor weeks, and I already know who I wanna melt for those weeks, so I didn't pull any for this coming week. Anyhow, L3 is not one of them, so I've tried to pull some of my stuff for L3. But anyhow, Fraser Fir, French Vanilla, love that blend. I need to use it up. And the beauty with L3 is we should be able to feel free to use it up because it's so easy to get her scent blends again, at least for now. Chai Tea Adipose. This is one that I would really like to melt more because I love chai tea, love this blend. So I do want to try and melt more of this. Now this is, I have not broken into this from my customs. Now I have melted this scent from L3 because I got it, I can't remember if I got it as a sample. I think it might have been a sample. This is Fresh Picked Strawberry, Vanilla Wafer, Vanilla Bean Noel. I think I got it as a sample and I loved it so much, and so I got it in my customs, but I haven't melted any of it. So I really need to melt it because I love it so much, but it's like I'm hoarding it, so I'm not melting it. And then I might have gotten this one too as a sample or something. I can't remember now. I have a hard time remembering. This is Fresh Picked Strawberries, Pink Chiffon, Boom Boom type. Amazing blend. That Boom Boom just adds such a yumminess to this blend that just makes it more than just a fruity, like, well, the pink chiffon's in there too, so it's really pretty. So it's just a very beautiful strawberry, pretty strawberry blend. So anyhow, so I did want to let you guys know I was gonna add those to my melting basket this week. And like one of these big chunks, like if I melt it in my bedroom, I only need 2 pieces, but if I do it in my main living area, I probably don't need it, but I can definitely melt like one whole big chunk we'll see, and if I end up doing it that way. But anyhow, so let me jump into like what I've melted this past week for Risky Week. It definitely was not a favorite week. Now I have to say it wasn't horrible, like I wasn't miserable, but there were so many times I was like, I just want to go grab a strawberry. I just want to go grab a Christmas tree scent. Like there was or just a yummy bakery scent, especially because this past week we had snow. Twice we had snow this past week, and it was super cold. There was a day that was like -1, like the feels like temperature. It was 10 degrees, but the feels like with wind chill was like -1. So the scents I was forced to melt, Drew, the scents I was forced to melt this week just were not those scents that I really would have loved to melt this past week. So, but Northwest Arkansas winters do last through at least the end of March, sometimes go into early April. The next 2 weeks in the forecast, the highs are going to be in the low 40s. So it's still going to be quite chilly. So I have a lot of opportunity to melt those scents I love, but this was nice because it really forced me to kind of use up some stuff in my collection. So I do appreciate that. I will say twice I melted outside of the melting basket, outside of the Risky scents. That was for Teddy Bees to see if I wanted to get those scents, more of these particular scents, in her pre-order that is still, I think, technically open. I think it might close today. But, and then there was a few that I was like, okay, this isn't so bad. Like I enjoyed it while it melted. There is one scent, I think maybe one that I'm like, I will purchase this again. But let me go ahead and jump in. So, from Glitterati, I finished this Peppermint, Vanilla Bean Noel, Marshmallow. I can't remember what the CC stands for, and then Coconut. So I don't know if that's like cotton candy coconut. I don't know. This just, it just mellows out her peppermint, I think, too much. Plus, I think this blend is a little on the old side. Well, it's from 2017. It's not that old for Glitterati, but yeah, but just, I picked it because I wasn't too sure on cold how much I was liking it. I think, personally, I feel like Glitterati's peppermint doesn't have a long shelf life. Anyhow, I melted this scent from Glitterati. This actually was not that big of a risky scent for me because it's kind of like up my alley for the most part. Alpine Snow and Christmas Tree, and Alpine Snow is pine, peppermint, and hint of eucalyptus. So on cold, it wasn't like, on cold, it wasn't like my favorite Christmas tree scent. So I kind of like, let me throw it in there and melt it. And it was okay. It's actually very pretty. My mom commented on it because we just melted it last night. So it's very much an outdoorsy snow Christmas tree type scent, very cool and stuff. I finished a pie slice from Sniff My Tarts. This is from a strawberry pound cake sampler that they did. This is strawberry pound cake, salty sea air, cookie bread, toasted marshmallow. I picked it because of the salty sea air scent. I generally do not like salty sea air scents from vendors. For some reason, they smell plasticky to me. Luckily for this one, it wasn't too bad. When I first put it in, I mostly got the strawberry pound cake. And like that cookie bread toasted marshmallow. There was a touch of salty sea air, but it was very much in the background. But then after it had melted for several hours, that salty sea air scent was kind of becoming stronger. I think it wasn't really becoming stronger. I think it's just the other notes were mellowing out, and that one was becoming more prominent. So I dumped it at that point. So again, I just try to avoid salty sea air blends. I melted this sample Black Amber Lavender. It just was like a very kind of clean like lavender on cold. So I put it in my laundry room and it performed reasonably well. I like K's. It's just, this is not, when I get lavender, I prefer to have like a relaxing, comforting bedtime lavender. So it's not a scent I would get again. It performed well. I'm sure there's lots of people that like that type of scent. From L3, I finished one of these chunks. This is from the mystery bags that she was doing. This is Farm Fresh Dusty Fairy Toes. The Farm Fresh is peaches, apples, blackberries, tomatoes, strawberries, and a hint of floral. And the Dusty Fairy Toes is like a grapefruit type scent. I actually like the Dusty Fairy Toes. I like grapefruit in wax. I don't get it very often. You don't see many vendors that have it. But that Farm Fresh, like the peaches, apples, blackberries, strawberries, I didn't get any of that. It literally just smelled like tomato vine. So this was like grapefruit and tomato vine. When I first put it in, the grapefruit seemed a little bit more dominant. So it was like, okay. But then after a while, it was just like, okay, take it out. And it wasn't like a super strong scent. Like I could smell it. it was maybe strong for the first hour and then it really started to fizzle out. So, it was okay. I finished a chunk in Spearmint birthday cake. This wasn't too bad. Spearmint is not like my favorite of the mint scents. I can enjoy it while I melt it. Hers, L3's, is not overly like spearmint gum to me, at least to my nose. But it's not one I would repurchase because I'd much rather have her like peppermint or buttermint type scent. So this one did well. It smelled reasonably well, but just not a love for me. I had one like little tart left. This is Love Shouldn't Hurt. This is one of her charity, I think, tarts or scents, and so she does donations when you buy this. If you are, yeah, so there's a phone number for like if you're in an abusive relationship. I was looking for the scent description. The scent description is cherry, marshmallow, and zucchini bread. I can enjoy some cherries. This was a little bit heavier. I think if I'm gonna melt cherry, I prefer for it to be like a cherry fizzy, kind of a very bright, fresh, fruity cherry versus that very dark, rich, heavy cherry. So this was a little bit more on the heavy cherry. So just not a favorite. This one I was really struggling. Like I put this one in like early on. Fresh cut roses and vanilla-y. I hate rose scents. I have not melted a rose scent that I've liked from any vendor, period, ever, because half the time, most of the time they smell like dead wilted flower to me. So they smell like a rotten flower. I don't know. This one surprisingly wasn't horrible. It did not have that dead rotten flower scent. It did have very much of like a rose perfumey type scent, but the vanilla-y I think helped kind of soften it a bit. So I put it in, it wasn't bad. I didn't hate it. I'm not gonna go out of my way to get it again, but I didn't hate it. So I was a little bit surprised by this one because of the fact that I didn't hate it. So it was pretty. So I actually melted it twice because I was like, okay. And I melted in my bedroom so that during the day, like I only come in occasionally, like during the week, Monday through Friday when I'm working, I only come into my bedroom or bathroom like when I'm gonna use the restroom. I don't spend a lot of time in my bedroom during the day, Monday through Friday. So if I'm not sure of a scent, I will melt it in here to just not have to be around it too much. So one of the ones that I definitely will repurchase, this is from Accidents. This is Sweet on Paris type. Now, the reason I put it in this basket, I love Sweet on Paris, but hers did not smell like the Sweet on Paris I've smelled from any other vendor. Hers was definitely more lemon forward on cold when I first hauled it anyways. Now, when I pulled it out to actually melt it, it wasn't as lemon heavy. It still didn't smell like Sweet on Paris from other vendors, but I actually didn't think it was too heavy. This was like a snowman shape. I chopped it into 3, melted 2 pieces in my office and 1 in my laundry room. It performed really well. I think I put it in on Thursday in my office, and then Friday didn't work. Actually, I took a day off. And I didn't change it out until yesterday morning because every time I would go into my office, I could still smell it. It's a beautiful scent. I felt like you could get like that fruity blackberry with some lemon in the bakery kind of type notes. I definitely would repurchase this from Accidents, and it was an excellent performer and it lasted a long time. I do feel like with some of the scents I'm melting from her now, I feel like because she pours everything fresh, I do think giving everything like at least a month, like 4 to 6 weeks, does help her wax. So I'm super excited to kind of keep melting stuff from her, and I will likely be placing another order at some point down the road. From Dessa's Homespun Scents, I finished this, I think it was a 6-pack of tarts. I think I had 4 left. This is Cranberry, Vanilla, Campfire. I mentioned, because I'm not a fan of smoky, really smoky scents. Like I like Toasted Marshmallow and I like Bonfire Bliss, but to me they don't smell like legit smoke. This one, the first time I remember melting it a long time ago, it was overly smoky. So that's why I put it in this basket. This time I think that like campfire note, I think got a little subdued, and it kind of was more just like a fresh air, outdoorsy with a hint of a smoke. It's very pretty. Like it was different. Like the cranberry, I think in this is fresh. There's a sweetness though, a little bit of like a fresh, sweet, tart, slightly spicy cranberry. The vanilla, I think, makes it sweet. And the campfire gave it this kind of outdoorsy, very light, smoky scent. So I do think, because this is from August 20, I do think that campfire kind of mellowed out a little bit. So I enjoyed it. I'm definitely not going to reach for it again from Dessa's, but I enjoyed it. From the Pharmacist's Daughter, I think I was pretty surprised by this scent. This ended up being really good. This is Candy Apple, which is green apple, sugared spruce. I wasn't too sure about the whole apple and sugared spruce scent combined together. I ended up really enjoying this. This was the 3 little like snap bars. I broke up the whole thing and melted it throughout my whole living, dining, kitchen, and laundry room area. So sometimes if I have like a little bit too much for just the main living area, I will carry it into the laundry room because it's right next, it's like on the other side of the kitchen, and so it kind of can float out. So that's what I did with this one. It performed really well. It lasted almost the whole day. I don't think it was overly like Christmas tree. That sugared spruce wasn't like, I wasn't getting a lot of sugared spruce, but it was very much like a wintry apple, like slightly sweet. A green apple's a little sweet, little sour, right? So it was like a slightly sweet, tart, wintry apple. So it was very pretty. Like I really did enjoy this. It didn't come off as a foodie apple, but it was almost like a subdued winter candy apple, but a green apple version or something. I could kind of compare it to something, right? So I actually might look to get something like this in a small quantity again next winter if they end up pouring it. I finished this sample from Swanky. This is Old Soul, and this is Palo Santo Clean Shaved Coconut Milk. I really only, when I melted this, got the coconut milk, and it just wasn't very exciting, so I wouldn't repurchase. I could smell it a little bit. It was kind of light on cold. From Sassy Wax Melts, I finished this sample in Berries and Pine, and the pour date was October 18th. And this one actually performed like not great. Like I was like, sorry, I thought someone was knocking on my bedroom door, so I kind of got a little distracted there. On cold, I couldn't even smell the berries and pine. On warm, I might have made a mistake. It was a pretty good size. I should have probably cut it in half to put it in my laundry room. So I'm not gonna like chalk this up to how her wax performs. I do think it's well cured. It's basically 3 months old. So I'm going to continue to try to melt through her stuff, but I'm definitely not going to order again until I melt through some of what I have and just see how it performs overall, because on cold, I'm not super impressed. Like a lot of the scents have this very creamy, soft undertone to them. And so for a berries and pine scent, on cold, I would have expected it to smell more like a berries and pine. On warm, I barely smelled it. Like it just wasn't present. From L3 Waxy Wonders, I finished another chunk in cheesecake, cake batter, graham crackers. This one was actually pretty good. I did not get the cheesecake note. So I put this in my risky basket because cheesecakes often come off as sour to me. So I just don't care for them. Generally, I've had a few blends here and there where there's cheesecake and they're good. This one was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. I don't think I'd seek it out because it wasn't like, oh my God, I need more, but I enjoyed it while I was melting it, and I wasn't getting that sour note that you can sometimes get from cheesecake blends. Okay, actually this is one, I forgot about this one. This was not part of my risky basket originally. This is from the Pharmacist's Daughter Cookie Exchange. They have this in a pre-order that they just did. I think the pre-order's closed now, I'm not sure. And I needed to know if I needed to get it. So I melted it. I really liked it. It's like I think it's like a summer scoop and bakery blend. So good. These was just 2 very tiny little Christmas trees that I melted in my office so I could smell it. It wasn't like super strong. I do feel like I would have needed a little bit more wax because it was just very small size, but I could definitely smell it. It was just a really good, that like strawberry ice cream mixed with cookie. I don't know. It was like so good. I really liked it. So I did end up ordering, I think, a loaf in that one. Maybe. Did I get the loaf? I can't remember if I ended up getting the loaf or I tried to tone myself down and got this souffle. I don't remember, but I did get it. From the Pharmacist's Daughter, I also melted Earl Grey Cider, which is Earl Grey tea and apple. I don't think I care. Oh, I didn't care for the tea scent in this one. It was okay, but it was like, yeah, like a cidery tea. So even though it just says apple, it definitely leans cider where it says Earl Grey Cider. So it definitely leans cider. I'm not a fan of apple cider, and I'm not a fan of like tea scents. It's, again, not horrible. I didn't hate it, but not a favorite. Not something I would look for again. Snowfall from Dessa's. I do not have the scent description for this one. I didn't write it on it. I think I avoided it for a long time because it had like a spearminty scent to me. And so then I warmed it, and I think what it is it's some kind of a mint and a Christmas tree. But it was weird because when I first put it in, I was getting somewhat of an like astringent note from it initially. And so it was just a little offensive to my nose. But then after like a couple hours, that kind of died off and I got more of the like spearmint slight tree scent. So I don't know, it performed well. I don't think I will get this again because it just, something was off with it for my nose personally. I finished, there was a couple like little snap bar thingies in this Cranberry Zucchini Bliss from Dessa's. This is zucchini bread, fresh cranberry, white chocolate frosting. I think I mentioned to you guys on cold, this did not sound anything, did not smell anything like this scent description. So I was a little unsure of it. On warm, it was pretty good. I don't know that I can't really smell it much anymore. I don't think I'm gonna go out of my way to get this scent again. So it did okay. It was like a sweet kind of fruity, like bakery. The white chocolate frosting, it definitely was not chocolate. So there's no chocolate note in this, but it was very kind of a rich note behind it. And it might've been that white chocolate frosting with that cranberry that maybe was throwing me off a little bit. So it performed well. It did really good. It was okay from a scent, but it's not one I feel like I need to have again. Okay, here's one that was, Pass the Ketchup Rosemary Mint. So Pass the Ketchup, I don't have the scent description on this, but it literally just smells like tomato vine. That's all it smells like. And Rosemary Mint, I love L3's Rosemary Mint, but the Rosemary Mint definitely did not win in this blend. So if this happens to be like, if any of these blends happen to be like the L3 ones happens to be one you guys did, sorry. We all have different scent preferences. I know people love that like very green note. I like early on, I think Vintage Chic Scents did some like grass type scents, and early on in my wax melting days, I did enjoy some of those, but I think now I don't enjoy them. So yeah, those just very green notes I don't care for, and that's mostly what I got from this. Again, this was one I melted in my bedroom, so I didn't really have to smell it very much. Melted in my bedroom during the day, so I didn't have to smell it very much. So definitely not one I would get again. It didn't make me sick to my stomach, but I did not enjoy it. Another sample from Sassy Wax Melts. This was called Easily Amused, which is cherry vanilla, wild berry mousse, and Twinkies. On cold, this mostly just smelled like the cherry vanilla. And then on warm, that's mostly what I got. This one was definitely, I could smell it more than the other sample that I melted, but still not very strong and not very long lasting. So, but it was just a little tiny sample. I put it in my laundry room. I need to melt some of the bigger stuff from her to see how it goes, but I'm still letting that stuff cure. From L3 Waxy Wonders, I finished this little tin in a strawberry crunch. This was back in January of last year when she was pouring a bunch of discontinued scents to kind of get them out of her stock. And this is not a strawberry that I like. I mean, it's okay, but it's not my favorite strawberry. So I melted it. It's more of that like tart. To me, it's more tart and artificial. I know other people love, not this strawberry crunch necessarily, but that strawberry oil that's in this, it's a common one that's out there, and I know other people love it, but I like the fresh picked strawberry from L3, the sweet macerated strawberry from Dessa's. It's the same oil. Vintage Chic Scents, her Bluebird Cafe, that's fresh picked strawberry. It's the same oil. Candles from the Keep, even fresh picked strawberry is the same oil. I'm trying to think other vendors who have strawberry. Those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head that I know for sure have it. Glitterati, I think, has fresh picked strawberry. Kay's has it, or one that's very, very close to it. It's her, I can't remember what it's called, but I have it in a blend. But anyhow, so this is just not a favorite strawberry for me. It performed well. It smelled fine while I was melting it, but anyhow. Then from Swanky, I finished 2 of these big scent shots. This first one was Sugar Plum Fairy. This was good. It was super strong. So this scent shot, I cut it into 6 pieces, melted it in my bedroom and bathroom, and then in my office and laundry room. Because I have 2 warmers in my bedroom, 1 in my bathroom, so that's 3 pieces. 1 warmer in my laundry room, 2 warmers in my office. So, 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 so strong, but it's such a sweet scent. It's just overly sweet for me. So it smells good, but it's just too sweet. So it's not, I won't get it again. I kind of enjoyed it while it was melting, but it was just overly sweet. Then I finished the Scent Shop cornbread, sugar corn pudding, and cream cake. I melted this throughout my living room. It's kind of like a zucchini bread, but a little bit more of a corn note to it. If you hear people talk about how zucchini bread sometimes smells like corn chips, for the most part, I don't get that from a zucchini bread. But this, if someone was to say zucchini bread smells like corn chips, that's what this smells like. So not a favorite scent of mine because I wasn't sure that I would like the cornbread sugar corn pudding type blend. It was okay on warm. It wasn't like a super strong one from Swanky, so you know, but not something I would seek out again. So those are the empties. I'm trying to look at the time. I have about 5 minutes left. So non-empties. I'm gonna see how quickly I can get through some of these, but yeah, it's gonna probably go past 30 minutes. Okay, the first one from Rose Girls. This is one I got back in February. This is Florida Key Lime Pie, Serendipity, and Vanilla Ice Cream. That Key Lime Pie with that Serendipity. Serendipity is like a cherry, coconut, creamy, vanilla type scent. I love Serendipity. I don't think I like it with Key Lime Pie. And this was just not a great performer. It was only like maybe about a 5 out of 10 on throw, and then it kind of fizzled out after a few hours. So that's kind of typical of the majority of stuff I get from Rose Girls. I do have some scents from Rose Girls that do really well that I love, but I just don't go for her as much because it just doesn't always perform as well for me. I melted half of this scent shot from Swankies in Snowman Balls. This is peppercorns, nutmeg, clove, elderberries, blackberries, plums, oak moss, fizzy pop, and cool mint. To me, it doesn't smell like any of these notes. It just smells more like a very outdoorsy, cool type scent, like fresh outdoors. I don't get those notes. I don't know. So I don't care. It's just too fresh, I think, for me. I'm going to see if my dad might like this one, if I can pass it on to him. This is one I reached out of my basket. I keep forgetting. Somewhere midweek, I was like, I need a good lavender blend. This is Wicked Essence Long Winter's Nap, which is lavender, vanilla, marshmallow fluff, and sweet snow. I don't know what the scent description is for sweet snow. Wicked Essence, for the most part, I get amazing throw from her stuff. Like, I've only melted a handful of things, like a few things. They've been super, super strong. But this Long Winter's Nap, it's not real strong for me. It's really, really light. So I'm a little bit bummed because I got several of them. I can smell it. It's just not as strong as I would like it to be. So I'll continue melting it. But yeah, I reached out of my risky basket on that one too. And then from Sassy Girl Aroma, I melt a good portion of this 'Tis the Season to Be Jolly. This is fruit, clove buds, and cinnamon sticks and vanilla. I just wasn't sure on cold when I smelled this if I thought I'd like it. It's okay. Like, I definitely melted it. I melted it twice actually, so I got through quite a bit. It's pretty strong. It's just the amount of spice in it is a little bit too much spice for me. So it's just not a favorite and not something I'd pick out again, but it definitely performed well. Okay, so let's see. Another one that I just wasn't sure about, this is again Wicked Essence. This is Absolutely, which is Cupcakes at Tiffany's, Buttercream Bomb, Churro, Caramel Drizzle. This one actually performed really, really well. This whole bag, it's 8 tarts. I think it's supposed to be 6 ounces. I melted 2, so that's a little bit under 2 ounces. And I melted in my main living area. I just took both and cut them in half and put it in 4 different warmers, so I did not use all my warmers. I could smell this really, really well. So this goes to show, like, her wax just performs really well, usually. The scent was all right. I don't know if it's the Buttercream Bomb or the Churro Caramel Drizzle. There was just something in it, the bakery note in it, I just wasn't a fan of. It was okay. I may continue try melting this. I may pass it on to somebody. I don't know yet what I'm gonna do with it. It's not horrible, but I know it's one that's probably gonna likely sit in my collection for a while because it just won't be one that I reach for, right? Let's see, I melted half of this chunk from L3. This is Beach Sage Mint Watermelon Pear. This was really kind of just like a minty watermelon. The Beach Sage portion of the Beach Sage Mint, I don't really know what that was adding to this blend. It was pretty, so it wasn't too bad. This was actually very pretty, and I think coming spring, I think I would enjoy melting this one some more and finishing this up. Will I seek it out again? I don't know, but I do like the watermelon pear, so maybe I'd get that mixed with something else. From Vintage Chic Scents, I melted one of the roses, so this had two. This is Ziegfeld Follies. This is Pomegranate and Mulberry, and this is from 2017. The scent was okay. I do think this was definitely on the lighter side. I think just from age. I have some wax from her that's from 2016, 2017. That's super strong still. But I also have some that is definitely starting to fizzle out on scent. So I do have quite a bit. Like I have like 2 bins, like small, like the fabric cubes of all my older wax from her. And it's the scents that I think I just haven't reached for because they're not favorites. So although there's a couple, I will pause on that. There are a couple that are favorites, so I don't reach for them as often because I don't want to finish them, but I do need to melt through them. So this one just wasn't very strong, and the scent itself was just okay. Maybe I would have enjoyed it more if it was a little bit stronger. From Candles from the Keeping Room, I did melt a couple tarts. I really wanted to finish this one, but I didn't. In Bedtime Bath Lavender and Chamomile, this actually was pretty nice on warm. Like I wasn't sure I was gonna like it because that Bedtime Bath Lavender, it's not the like soothing, relaxing lavender I typically like to melt at nighttime. But this one was actually pretty good. So I'll try to get this one finished up and I enjoy it. Will I reach for it again? Probably not, but it wasn't bad. From Waxidents, I melted half of this, like, I can't remember what she calls them. It's one of those like snap bars or breakaway bars. It's in Fancy. And this is her strawberry, vanilla butter fudge, and hints of waffle cone. I grabbed this because her strawberry is just not my favorite strawberry. And it's not even that it's not my favorite. I don't care for it. It's just very artificial and candy-like to me. I mostly got strawberry when melting this one, so it performed well. I think, yeah, I melted this half. I think it was in my, was it in my office? I think it was just in my office. I don't remember if I melted it anywhere else. So it performed well, just not a scent I would get again. From The Pharmacist's Daughter, I melted like 3/4 of the souffle. This is in Beans and Cream. This is Coffee House Marshmallow Sweet and Creamy Coconut Shortbread Cookies. Actually, I melted only half, I think, roughly half, yeah. I really wanted to just see if I liked her coffee. Coffee is definitely one that I tend not to like, but I think what I'm learning is I like it more on warm, and I like it when it's blended with like bakery and sweetness. Like I can't just have a straight up coffee. I need it blended with like bakery and sweet stuff. So this was really good. I did really enjoy this. So in their pre-order, I did get a couple more coffee blends. So this is one of those that like I really liked. I don't think I'm going to ever be that person that needs to have it every day and needs to have a lot of it in my collection, but I do think I can enjoy it from a few vendors. I melted one tart from L3 in the banana nut bread cheesecake waffle cone. I actually really enjoyed this one. This was just like a really good banana bakery. I did not get the cheesecake. The banana nut bread, I think the bread part of that kind of reminds me a little bit of a zucchini bread. So this one was really good. I don't think it's a scent that I need to have a lot of in my collection, but I do think I would continue to kind of explore a little bit with L3's banana scents. This is one of the scents that I requested from L3, Bora Bora, Coconut Leaves, Boom Boom, and a hint of chlorine. I was going for kind of like a poolside beach vibe with this one. I put it in for one of her scent blend contests that did not win, which was fine. But then I requested she make it. And then when I got it on cold, the chlorine was just, it was off. It was making it smell weird. Now on cold, I don't actually smell the chlorine as much. And when I was melting this, I feel like I got mostly the Bora Bora Coconut Leaves. Maybe there was like a touch of something different, like a touch of a floral or something. So I actually enjoyed it. I don't think I will request it again. I did see it in her Loofapalooza, so I don't know if there are people that are enjoying it. So if you are, that's great. But for me, I was like, yeah, I don't think so, but I will finish what I have of it. From Sea Sugar, This is another coffee one, Butter Brickle Latte Scoop. So generally Butter Brickle is one that I'm not a fan of. It's like a bakery scent I'm not a fan of. And then again, coffee. This did really, really well and I really enjoyed it. And so I melted half the souffle throughout my whole living room area. Phenomenal performance and it smelled really good. So she's a vendor. She's very hard to get from. I do not know if she's adding people to the group or not. I don't know much, but I know she does have some medical stuff she's dealing with. So she just has limited ability to pour a lot of wax. So she doesn't want to be like, I think, overwhelmed. You know, I don't know her very well. So my understanding, she just doesn't want to be overwhelmed or disappoint a lot of people. Right. But from what I've melted so far from her, it's so good. And I have, 1 or 2 scents for this coming week that I'm really excited to melt. So I just don't know how easy it will be for me to get more from her. We'll see. Okay, then the last 2 things, these are ones that, again, I reached out of my risky basket. I reached out of it more than I thought, so sorry. I don't remember if this one is in the pre-order for Teddy Bees, but these 2 I reached out of my melting basket so I could decide if I wanted them in the pre-order. Tiffany? Yeah, Tiffany did not post the scent list until Thursday night. So I was thinking that maybe this one might be in it. I don't know if it is because after I melted it, I didn't pay attention, but Strawberry Fudgery. So Strawberry Fudgery is, oh, there's a typo on here. She forgot the W in strawberry. Strawberry pound cake, vanilla butter fudge, and patisserie. So this I think is a good blend for people who aren't huge fans of strawberry because it's definitely heavier on the bakery notes. So for me, when I want a strawberry blend, I want it to be more dominant on the strawberry with like the bakery notes in there. This is definitely heavier on the vanilla butter fudge and patisserie. So it's okay, not a favorite. So after I melted, I was like, yeah, I don't need more. So that's why I don't know. I did a very, very, very small order with Teddy Bees because I'm also trying to figure out how her wax performs the best. I do think her wax does better in lower wattage warmers. The problem is I don't have many low watt warmers set up anywhere because most wax I melt does better in hotter warmers. So I need to like play around with her stuff a little bit more and see. But the other one I melted quite a bit is crushed candy cane. This is peppermint, sweet sugar, and candy canes. And so you can see I melted it twice. Once in my whole open concept living room area, and I filled up all, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I did 5 warmers. And then I did a second time in my bedroom bathroom. And I could smell it. It's just not for a peppermint candy cane scent. It's just not as strong as I would like it to be. It smells good. And it smells really good. It's like a sweet vanilla candy cane. Ugh, it smells really good. I just wish it was a little bit stronger. So, and I did notice one of my warmers that I have, the one in my kitchen specifically, is a light bulb warmer from Better Homes and Gardens. I think it uses like a 25 watt light bulb, but I know those don't get like super hot. When I had some of this in there, when I would walk by that warmer, I could really smell it really strong from that warmer. And so that's why I'm thinking maybe, and a lot of wax, like I don't rely as heavily on that particular warmer because it doesn't perform as well because it is just a light bulb warmer with a glass dish. It's more there for aesthetics. I mean, it does reasonably well. It does better than Scentsy warmers, but so anyhow, so I noticed this was throwing pretty well off of that warmer. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, well, maybe I need lower wattage warmers for her wax. I don't know. So we shall see. But I decided I didn't need to get more of this just because it wasn't as strong as I had hoped. And then the strawberry fudgery was just not enough strawberry for me personally. So anyhow, that is everything that I melted this week. I know it's quite a bit. I know I talk a lot, but at least I feel pretty like, you know, productive with the amount of empties I made and that I was able to like get through some of the stuff. So if you guys did do risky week, let me know how it went for you. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. Did you have any surprise scents that you ended up loving? And then if you are joining us in the favorites week, or should you, if it brings you joy, melt it week, definitely comment below. I look forward to watching your videos, seeing you post on Instagram, or just seeing you comment below. Thanks everyone for watching. I will talk to you soon. Bye.